Woo here. Nice to see you again. I am a metaphysician. I'm a psychic medium, astrologer, and a really kick-ass energy healer. It's awesome to see our family growing, and we are going to be talking about our current astrology going on today. And let's see. So let's pull up a current chart. Give me a second to do that. So, side note, while I'm doing that is I live 40 minutes from my office, and it just took me an extra minute. So I came flying into the office. Okay, here we go. So open, no, we're not opening. We're going to create a new chart. And I use a really inexpensive program called Time Passages. So I'm going to call it today. Actually, no, let's look at the full moon coming up on the 12th. Full moon. And just give me a second. Well, okay, I can share my screen while I do this. Why don't you wanna? Hold on. Share screen. You can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm gonna say, try that again. Like, show me what's behind the scenes. How does that work? Okay, sure. Here we go. Okay, so this is how you create a chart using time passages. All right, so the nearest big city I'm near is actually Jamestown, New York. And then we're going to put the full moon, which is on May 12th, 2025. I have a little cheat sheet to, no, it doesn't tell me the time, does it? May the 12th. I don't know what time that full moon is. So we'll just spitball at 1 o'clock. We'll know as soon as we pull it up, and I'll show you how. So what else is cool? I guess I can't do two things at once. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to change it to natural houses. House calculations, natural houses. And I'm going to turn off some of the extra stuff because this could look a little bit overwhelming. And if you'd like to learn the nuts and bolts of astrology, I am launching a certification course at the end of this month, May, I think it's the 29th. And it's 2 hours once a week for as long as you want to go, 10, 20, or 28 weeks. And you could learn how to read astrology. Okay. I can't do two things at the same time. So just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to turn off all these extra things here. I'm going to turn this off and simplify it for you because the last thing I want is for anyone to be overwhelmed. There we go. So this is just the essential 10 planets, well, 9 planets plus the sun plus the moon. All right, so now we're going to look at, wow, we nailed it. How do I know this? Here's the sun, this red circle with the dot in the middle, that's the sun. And here's the moon, and they're both at, holy schmuckies. So they're both at exactly 22 degrees. And this one says 13 minutes, and that one says 15 minutes. So, wow, dumb luck or what? There is no such thing. So thank you, creator. Thank you, spirit guides. So it's going to be just about 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock on the 12th, which I think is Monday. Yeah, it is. It's Monday. And again, I'm in New York. So if you're in a different latitude, then the chart will be slightly different, or a different part of the world, then you're in a different time zone. So you have to check your local time zone. This is Eastern time zone. All right. And so I want to talk about this full moon. It's kind of a whopper, and let me explain why. Um, A full moon is always a big deal because the sun is as far away as it can be from the moon, and the moon it looks full. So it's a giant spotlight that illuminates things in the dark every single month. Well, Scorpio, which is the sign that the moon will be in when it is opposite Taurus. We are in Taurus season. Happy birthday to all the Taurus people. On May 12th, the sun is going to be at 22 degrees of Taurus, opposing or opposite the moon at 22 degrees of Scorpio. What this means is the moon is not only, it's our emotional temperament, our emotional temperature. It's who we are at nighttime when no one's looking. Where the sun is who we are hardwired to be. It's who we are during the day. Okay. The sun is illuminating this moon, this radiant moon, which is giant and lighting up the night. Well, normally you can't see so good in the dark. Well, the full moon helps us to see in the dark in our individual lives. Now there could be, we have to look at what the themes of Scorpio and then moon in Scorpio represents. Scorpio is secrets, underground, love triangles. It's shadow government, secrets. It's power, wealth, like enormous, like sick wealth, enormous wealth. Power. Dynamite comes in small packages. So Pluto is tiny, but it represents power. Lighting up. Where is it that we are deceiving ourselves? Where is it that we have not dealt with the skeletons in our closet? That's what this represents. So it's not going to be exactly comfortable, I would say, if you are not walking your talk. If there are circumstances that you have taken a shortcut, if you think you're getting away with something, I almost feel Alfred Hitchcock-y, where it's where your consciousness gets the better of you about the things that you've done. And I know that now I'm not a movie person, but I know that there's a ton of things out there that are that use that as like the plot or the theme. Let's say somebody, and we were going to use this in like a TV or a movie context, okay? So all these people are acting, all right? So somebody is part of a situation where somebody dies and they want to cover it up. And then they go on with their lives. Well, their consciousness is going to haunt them. That is the theme of this full moon. The dead bodies rise. The spirit of these people rise, and they may haunt you. Now, this is our emotions as well. Where are we not being truthful and honest about how we feel about something or about someone or about a circumstance in our life? Are we being abused? Are we being manipulated? Are we being controlled by somebody? Is somebody trying too hard to impress their wishes upon us to behave a certain way to appease them? That is a spotlight. Today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So the full moon is in 4 days. So kind of fading in to this intensity. Scorpio is intense. That's the sign that is associated with intensity. Scorpio people are intense. Scorpio energy, very intense, focused and driven like nobody's business, but also can be very vengeful. I know the social security of your number of your firstborn. I know where you live. Uh, you know, be careful when you go to sleep at night. It's kind of that vindictive, haunting, scary, intimidating, overshadowing Darth Vader type of an energy. That is what Scorpio can be. But I want to keep this more right now on a personal level. And so that will be, what about yourself is still haunting you? Now, the ruling planet of Scorpio, the modern one, is Pluto. And that's this guy right here. All right. Pluto is power. It's the tiny planet that's loaded with power. And Pluto just went retrograde. Now, what is retrograde? Because I'm not going to assume everybody knows everything. Retrograde is, from Earth's perspective, that's the key point. From Earth's perspective, it appears that the planet is going backwards. Now, obviously, a planet does not go backwards, all right? It's almost like an optical illusion. I kind of feel like when you're at a stoplight, you're driving, you're at a red light, and the car next to you is also at the red light, but they let their foot off of the brake and they move ever so slowly forward, just idling. And you feel like, oh my God, am I rolling backwards? It's kind of like that. Now, when a planet is retrograde, it's actually closer to the Earth, and its energy, its energetic signature is amplified. Well, Pluto is already intense, powerful, and it really packs a punch. For the next almost 20 years, it's going to stay in the sign of Aquarius, which is new to this planet. Aquarius is the people, for the people, by the people. It's community, it's technology, a bunch of stuff. Want to keep it personal here. Now, Pluto going retrograde is that haunting energy. Where do you have regrets? Oh, I wish I didn't say XYZ. I wish I didn't do XYZ. So this could bring up kind of some crap from the past. Where could I have done better? What you want to do is throw away your coulda, woulda, shouldas, because it serves no one. We don't need to stir the pot of guilt and shame over spilt milk. What to be aware of is other people in your lives may become bitter or vile or try to kick the dirt in your face or mudsling or make you try to make you feel guilty. Well, yeah, remember when I needed you and you weren't there, or you told me you couldn't help me and then this horrible thing happened to me? This is what you need to be aware of. You want to put on your light suit, your resistance outfit. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. You don't want to let these people in your head, and they're most likely people that you care about, that have unresolved issues and traumas. And Scorpio and Pluto, they go together. And this does speak to therapy, the psyche, the skeletons in our closet. All right. So this might not be super comfortable. because Scorpio is our traumas and the moon is our emotions. So where is their emotional scarring? Or is it not exactly scarred over? Is it very easy for somebody to bring something up and it rips off the scab or it triggers you? And do not be shy or embarrassed to reach out for help. Like, there are so many amazing do-gooders who serve people exactly like you. You don't need to resort to perhaps traditional therapy, conventional therapy. With Pluto in Aquarius, this is going to be what we're moving towards is alternative therapy. So this is holistic healers. Hello, which I am and I teach. Working with astrology. Aquarius rules astrology. You learn astrology. Learn how to predict, just like what we're doing today, what to expect on this full moon. Well, you can do this every single day of your life. Where is the moon today? Where are the planets? How is it impacting me? And how do I dress for the weather? It's such a wonderful tool. Now, for me, I am a 22-degree Leo. So this full moon is going to create a T-square in my chart because 22 degrees Leo is going to be right in that fifth house of this particular chart. So that means it's going to be a point of tension. There might be some conflict. And then the escape hatch. Oh, actually, no, it's not a T-square. It's a fixed grand cross. Oh my. Okay, so let me take myself out of the mix, you guys. Because on this full moon, we're going to have a, a fixed grand cross. What does that mean? So there are 4 signs that are fixed signs. And they are Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. There is a planet represented in all 4 on this full moon. Now, when you have a 90-degree angle, okay, like a capital L, that's a 90-degree angle, that's going to create tension. It could be an external point of conflict. Something's coming at you, and you got to process it. You might resort to your defense mechanisms, or you might withdraw. It depends on your personality style and your level of conscious awareness and your level of healing through your woundedness in your life. Well, we're having um, 4 90-degree angles. Let me grab my little whiteboard for you. Okay. Let me stop this share for, well, let me draw what I need to draw. So we've got Pluto, Pluto at 3. We've got Mars at 11. We've got Moon at 22. And then we've got Sun at 20. Okay. Oh my God. And then we also have the North Node with Saturn at 25 and 28. This is a loaded full moon, you guys. So before I even get to my little whiteboard, let's go a little bit deeper with this. Okay. Pluto up here, retrograde. Intensity internalized. Okay, retrograde planets are more felt internalized, okay? Especially on a personal level. If you have retrograde planets, then the energy signature of that planet is going to be felt more internally for you, okay? A retrograde planet is not an anomaly. It happens all the time. And Pluto goes retrograde for 5 months. So it's retrograde almost half of the time. It'll come out of retrograde in October. But in the sign of Aquarius, that's going to be our groups, our affiliates, our coworkers, people that we have been feeling a part of a community with. This is changing, it's breaking away. And that's why, leaving jobs that you've been at, careers that you've been at for long times, groups of people, friends, like the TV show Friends, or where people, now I don't know how exactly that ended because I'm not a TV person, but when like the end of MASH, the end of any series where there's a group of friends and eventually like you graduate and you go off to your own, you separate because really you have kind of outgrown your group and you realize I like XYZ and that group does ABC and that's not who I am anymore. And so I'm outgrowing my crowd. It's wonderful, but it's going to be intense. So let's say you're trying to quit drinking and you're used to all these people who are always at the bar watching the bands and what it is, but you're trying to go sober, you're trying to go get dry. And your friends are, yeah, but this band and that band. Well, you kind of have to cut them off because you're always going to associate that habit of drinking with those people in the bar watching the band. Now, the alternative is if you're really strong about it, which is very Plutonian, very Scorpionic, if you're intense and driven, then you're going to do something different. You're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to drink water. I don't care who makes fun of me because I'm on a mission to take better care of my health. And alcohol is a carcinogen. So why would I want to partake in that? I still want to see you guys. I still want to see the band. But then what happens is when you quit drinking, the way that you see people who are drinking changes. And you realize it, how it lowers one's not only inhibition, but it lowers their vibration. And eventually you're not going to be around that at all. And I can actually attest to this because I was a professional drinker for many, many years. And when I quit drinking, if I walked into somewhere to see a band right now and I see people drinking and acting dumb, it really bothers me. Like, I do not want to be around this. And I cannot stand being around belligerent drunks. Like me, I'm a happy drunk, right? So, but I don't partake anymore. Anyways, got away from my I got anyway. And so your perception is changing and you are separating into other thinner layers, becoming less compacted, because that is what our world, that is the nature of what Earth is going through from an energetic perspective. For reference, you could see schumannresonance.org. Uh, pardon me, all the solar flares, all this, we're going through some extremely intense times. And what is supporting that is all the outer planets are changing signs within a year and a half. And that's crazy. It's unprecedented. The further out planets are more like generational. They're very slow moving. So everyone born within this 14-year span is going to have, Pluto in that sign, or as examples, but it's those faster moving planets that create variations. And that is what makes you different from me. And then the moon is the fastest moving thing, which is not a planet, but in astrology, we call it a planet. And so your moon flavors your emotions. And we're all different. And when you have all of these different energetic signatures, it's a beautiful blending of a cocktail that only you are. It's so cool. All right, now this I'm definitely saying it's an intense full moon. All right, so we have Pluto opposite Mars. So we didn't talk about Mars today yet. Here's Mars. It is the sperm saying, I am going. It is athleticism, it is sports, and it has dragged through Cancer, and it is just, and it was retrograde and in Cancer, and it was just horrible. Anyways, we're out of that now. And who that's going to impact the most are going to be Cancer, because Mars dragged through Cancer, and Mars is not strong. It's not good there. The sign of Cancer and the sign of Scorpio, because Mars is the old ruler, the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. So look at this. You've got both rulers of Scorpio opposite one another. Oh my God. And then you've got the moon in Scorpio on this full moon. This is intense, intense, intense. So the big ones here also are going to be Aries, because Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is part of this. Okay, Aquarius is part of this. Taurus is part of this. And Scorpio is part of this. Leo is part of this. All four of the fixed signs are locked together. And when something is locked together, you're not getting through. We're not budging. It's fixity. So this is a fixed grand cross, it's called. All four of these fixed energies are represented. Now, that's going to bring stubbornness, but use it for your advantage. Get a focal point and let nothing get in your way. What this full moon is going to offer you is, where are you leaking energy? Who's draining you, or what is draining you? And then it's up to you to do something about it. Let's add to this intensity. The moon is going to be opposing the planet Uranus. Well, guess what? Uranus is also an intensity. Well, it's more of a unpredictability. So now we have a little bit of uh-oh going on, because we have unpredictability in a fixed grand cross, which is 4 T-squares. No, I didn't mean to say that. It's 4 squares. 4 squares. That's tough. Because if you think about an X is made of 4 capital L's. And that's all I was going to draw for you on the whiteboard anyway. All right, so I absolutely would expect a weather event, a natural disaster. Let's also add why. Uranus is earthquakes and tsunamis. It is shifting of tectonic plates. In the sign of Taurus is the earth. And so we've got intensity. We have all the fixed signs represented. So that's all the elements. We've got earth, air, fire, and water. And we already have had volcanoes erupting that have been dormant for a long time. We could expect more of this. Tsunamis, tidal waves, natural disasters, those kinds of things. Think of pressure and pressure relief. Where's that pressure relief going to show up? And that's where the whistle's going to blow. There could be a big, big whistleblower, a big data dump, big exposure, revealing truth, disclosure. Why? Because Scorpio is secrets and wealth. So now it's also sex too. Leo is celebrities. Mars is sports, athleticism. Ew. So we're kind of getting a little bit of a picture here. And I don't feel so good about it. So now this is kind of intuitive dumping coming in. So I think I'm going to kind of venture over there and see what the spirit guides are. It's ugly. So this is going to be a revealing of an ugly truth, and this is hidden children. Hidden children. What does that mean? Trafficking, hidden, obstacles revealed. I cannot not say that PDIDDY guy. And then the EPSTEIN guy, who supposedly is dead, and then Maxwell too, G period Maxwell. So those people, wow, I'm feeling like an inflation, like re-inflating a lung. This is not good stuff. This feels like ritualistic things that are of a demonic nature. So none of this stuff is good, but if it's not revealed, it's going to continue. Only when the big fat spotlight of the full moon reveals hidden truths, then we have a choice to do something about it. Take appropriate action. Um, Now clearly I've moved from the personal to the bigger picture, but I just have to follow exactly what's there, and this is just how I do my work. Um, the intuition automatically turns on, it flows, and I just start following that breadcrumb trail. Um, and this might have opened up things in yourself too. You might have your own visions, your own intuition, and you do want to support that. You do want to follow that trail and jot down the stuff that you're getting, even if it doesn't make sense. Because once whatever hits the news, or once whatever shows up in your life, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I saw that. I felt that. I saw those words, or I saw this image, or it was in a dream. And then because you need to prove to yourself that your psychic ability is accurate, that it's real, that you're not just imagining it. And if you're surrounded by the wrong people who don't know how to support you, they're going to talk you out of it. They're going to say, oh, no, that stuff's stupid. There's no truth in that. That's woo woo, or that's devil work, or against my beliefs, whatever it is. This is a language, and it's not new age. This is ancient stuff. And when you learn how to read the language, you know how to dress for the weather. So why not? It's to be forewarned is to be forearmed. I want to know, right? Because some days you might just choose to want to stay home if you can. Like if there's going to be horrible weather out, why would you want to put yourself at risk and go out into it if you don't have to? 3 days leading up to this. So today's Thursday. So we're easing into it now. That's the fading in. It's going to get more and more intense, which is already Scorpio and Pluto and full moon. All of this stuff together is bringing intensity. I also wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of flash about ETs. Now, you do have extraterrestrial galactic DNA inside of you. Your DNA is multidimensional. All right, you're not a black and white person. Um, you're not just going to be a pile of ashes when you're done in this lifetime. Your energy, your spirit, your soul departs this meat suit, the earth element, it exits and it returns to all that is, reconsults with your spirit guides, makes decisions. Sometimes you have to go to certain trainings or different things before you come back, but you're definitely going to come back. Think of the lava lamp. So I don't have it turned on. Maybe I should have. So with a lava lamp, the blobs, once they warm up, they go up, but then they come back down again. And so this is how the spirit world, it's how you as an individual soul, you're still part of a big collective. It's how this works. It's all beautifully crafted, intermingled part of a whole. And so universal, there's a universal consciousness, there's a global consciousness, there's a think of like school spirit. So there's a school group consciousness, there's a town, area code, zip code group consciousness. All of this is a thing. And when there's opposing views on any platform, how are you going to deal with that? Are you going to say stone them? Or Are you going to find a way to agree to disagree without wanting to stone somebody else? This is going to be big opposing forces for sure. And what is the breaking point? Well, we have an ace in the hole here. Why? The North Node is with Saturn, and Saturn, I like this. Saturn is karma. You know what I love about Saturn? What I love about Capricorn? Because that planet and that sign go together. Capricorn does rule government, but you know what? Capricorn always gets caught. Capricorn needs to do things by the letter. Speaking of letters, Capricorn think IRS, DMV. All right. You're not gonna turn in a handwritten excuse to the IRS. I couldn't get this done because my dog ate my homework, right? You're gonna get fined. There's gonna be punishment. Um, you're not gonna go to the Department of Motor Vehicles without the necessary documentation. They're gonna turn you away. It's black and white. There's no in between. When Capricorn tries to take a shortcut and cover their tracks, they always get caught. So this is a beautiful thing. Now, the North Node with Saturn here are in Pisces. And at the end of May, later in May, I think it's the 21st, Saturn is going to leave Pisces and it's going to move into Aries. I'm not going to go that far today, but this here, it means you're going to pay. And so now we put all of this stuff together. We have Leo is celebrities, but it's also children. Mars can be violence, sports, ambition. It's also Mars is the god of war. And Pluto in Aquarius is power, strength, and numbers. So this now can be revolting, taking it to the streets, taking it to the streets. That's a good song by the Doobie Brothers that represents these changing times. Scorpio is hidden secrets and truth, but under a full moon, it's going to be lit up, illuminated. The sun in the sign of Taurus, both the sun and Taurus and moon and Scorpio, this is finances. This is money. Where is their money laundering? Where are your tax dollars going? What is it funding? It's a big deal. Politicians. Yeah. Getting caught. What's going on with the Vatican? You don't need my input. It's out there. The head of the Catholic school that I sent my children to is one of the pedophiles who was on the news. This is undeniable stuff. And just to scurry them into other parishes, that's not okay. And here is where this stuff, now this has already been revealed, but I think it's going to get even uglier. And I'm actually getting a psychic vision that I don't feel so comfortable saying on my YouTube channel, but what it has something to do with what's going on underneath the Vatican. I've talked about this before. Actually, I think I just talked about it the week before the Pope died. And I had said something is going to strike the Vatican. And then it happened. Now, I'm not going to get into a conflict with anybody about religion or politics. That's not where I'm coming from. I'm simply reading the language and giving you what I'm getting. And you could take what you like and discard the rest. I will tell you, astrology never lies. Now, in June, Jupiter is moving into the sign of Cancer, and that is going to really enhance things surrounding the family, home, privacy, and safety. How do I protect my own home security? All right. So families, I feel reproduction. What do you call that? Fertility and reproduction, family size, and the reproductive system. Uh-oh. So now another level of stuff. Guess what? North Node in Saturn in Pisces. This is the immune system, immunity, and immunizations. Truth revealed. Oh. And this is not good. But you can call it a necessary evil. Only through mass awareness will change happen. The truth always will set you free if you choose. Okay, some people are clinging on to their belief systems and refuse to believe. They got the finger in the ears and they're going blah, 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 blah. That's their right. They have the right to do that, just like you do, just like I do. If someone is saying stuff that I don't want to hear, I can walk away. But I definitely would not want to have a closed mind. It's the worst thing in the world. Because once you have a closed mind, you think you know everything, and then you actually start dying because there's no growth. Your brain, your body, and your soul all must have growth so that you stay pliable and atrophy does not set in. I really cannot overemphasize the strength and the intensity of this full moon. So you're going to start to see things now already starting to creep up into the news over these next several days. Now, I don't do news and I don't do media, but I'm on socials. So I do see what the buzz is. But you can expect crimes, the revealing of these crimes, and heinous crimes, and strings of crimes. And so I feel a lot of mysteries are going to be a light shined upon them, which means solving mysteries, solving crimes. This is Scorpio stuff. Scorpio loves a good whodunit, a good murder mystery. These are Scorpio things, and it's the Scooby Doo magnifying glass, and ooh, look, it's a clue, Scoob. um, Following that whole thing. That's what this is about, and I fully expect lots of truths to be revealed. I don't expect it to be in your standard mainstream media because that's all uh, planted. All right. Let me okay, I don't see anything in the chat. So let's just keep going here. All right, now that North Node with Saturn in Pisces, Pisces is also drugs, pharmaceuticals, health. It's the health axis. And with the South Node in Virgo, that's what we need to discard or excrete. The way that we view health, the way that we've been, I wanted to say spoon fed, and then that changed to force fed. So that's going to make me say the word indoctrinated. The whole thing about the food pyramid is a lie. The food pyramid was all strategized, not in our favor. So we're going to be getting lots of new information about health, alternative health, group consciousness, alternative healing, and then reproduction, the reproductive system also. Fighting for our children. Why did I say that? Because Mars is fighting Leo's children. And then the disclosure or the dirty, dark, yucky truth about exploiting people. So it's ugly stuff that needs to come to the surface so that we can deal with things and own what we need to own, tell the truth where we need to come clean, forgive where we need to forgive. And we do that for us. We don't do it for them. It's so that you're not stuck carrying those chains of bondage for whatever happened to you for the rest of your life. Your soul is here to grow and to emerge, not to keep on saying, this happened to me. They'll pay. Karma will get them. Cut it. I mean, yeah, karma will get them. But every time you keep on spinning about it, you're bringing yourself back down instead of keeping on going, keeping on going. So I have all kinds of, I've had some recent interviews where I do share, 22 years of my life, I was in an extremely violent relationship. I mean, it was sexual assault just about almost daily. And people wouldn't believe that because it's like, but that's your husband. If it's forced, okay, if somebody's saying you look so pretty when you cry, okay, that's very creepy. That's Scorpio energy, right? Um, but if I don't tell my story, then people who are in that deep, dark confusion, gaslighting, abuses, won't be able to see somebody who can identify with them and see that they made it out and they still found success. They've built success. I absolutely love my life. I would never want to relive what I went through, nor wish it upon anybody. But that is my personal story, and I live to tell. Now, I am a Scorpio rising. And so my Scorpio rising and my 22-degree Leo moon is going to be smack dab in the middle of this full moon. I can't wait to see what happens. I don't expect anything bad because to my knowledge, I don't have any more hidden truths. But who knows? Maybe I find out I have another sibling out there. I already found out I do have a half a brother. Um, uh, uh, these things can come to the surface too because family secrets. And then all kinds of things could come with this full moon. Absolutely a time of intensity. How can you work with this full moon? It is with forgiveness. It is going to be with therapy or consultations with somebody who is where you would like to be, who has what you would like to have for yourself in your life. Excuse me, it's conventional therapy from what I'm psychically seeing right now. It's dwindling. It's a dying art. Because really it just kind of spins you in circles. Like how many times you need to talk about what happened to you, which is conventional therapy. So there's so many new types of therapy or newer that are not conventional. There's that EMDR, there is tapping, emotional freedom technique, the tapping on the different points. You can look into that. Red light therapy, crystal therapy, color therapy, psychotherapy. Now I do holistic psychotherapy, and my specialty is PTSD. So it's my own story, figuring it out. Where did that happen, or why? What did my soul sign up for, and what do I do about it? Right. So this is all in your chart, and you have all of the houses in your chart. So the houses represents areas of life. And if you have planets in those houses, then the signatures of those planets amplify that house with that energy signature. As an example, Mercury. I have Mercury up on my midheaven in a sign that it rules, Virgo. Well, that is the scribe. And I'm a writer. I love writing. I'm very articulate with writing. Like I'm a real good writer. And that's what I love to do. So Mercury is how we communicate. in an earth sign, that it rules is written, and on my midheaven is almost like orating and making a career of it. And so you want to look. Maybe that's what we'll talk about next week. Midheaven. What's on your midheaven? I think I like that. Now, if you would like to have, excuse me, your chart read as part of my free astrology series, I can anonymize your name and we can go through your chart. Or if you had a big life event, then you do need to have the time and location of your birth, and then the time. This would be fun. And I actually do this in my astrology course too, is I have the students give an event, but only tell us the date and time of it. And then we put it up on the chart, and you as students, we're going to read it. The student will not have said what the event was, but we're going to read it and we're going to figure out what that event was. It's just so revealing and awesome. And to know stuff, like, doesn't it feel good to know stuff? Like, I like knowing stuff. Knowledge is power, after all. And then when you love something and you know stuff, you can get paid for that. Would you like to learn how to read the language of astrology? It might be able to help you build your confidence, your competence, and bring clients if that's something you're interested in doing. Even businesses have a chart. So I do business astrology, I do personal astrology, I do compatibility. Do you belong with this person, or is this like means to an end? We can see abuse and abusers and narcissism in the chart. I'm open to anything. So if you're interested in having yourself read on one of these public forums, then just email me. And I would love for you to join my newsletter, suzy-woo.com, and you're going to get a free sound healing for your heart with one of my gongs on my farm. And I invite you to see my events also on my website. That's all I can think of. Now, I do have a couple of big events coming up. One is Astro Victor is coming here to Western New York. And it's a 3-day retreat with healing and astrology. I'm going to be doing my big ass gong sound bath. We're going to be doing some journeying and some very deep level energy healing. And Victor is going to be doing trauma in the chart and the remedies. What are the remedies of the planets? So a lot of times, as an example, people who have Saturn in the second house, or no, the third house, I want to say, Saturn in the third house, have been raised to think that they were dumb. But actually, they're brilliant. They're very, very intelligent. And they've got to break through that mental conditioning of their formative years. So Victor is going to call that out in the chart and then share with us the remedies. How do you work with this? How do you break through that to realize your own awesomeness? And then my part is the energy part, the healing part, and the sound journey and all of this wonderful stuff. And we're both going to be offering personal readings too during that weekend. And if you're journeying, if you're going to be flying or traveling to join us, stick around for a few days, because I'm going to be taking people on a little tour. We're going to go visit Lilydale. I teach there, Lilydale, and maybe Niagara Falls if you've never been to Niagara Falls, New York, and it's going to be so much fun. All right, that's all the time we have for this week. I'm Suzy Woo, metaphysician, healer, psychic medium, and astrologer. I invite, if you want a private reading, you can book one on my website at any time. I do this work around the world, online and in person in Ellicottville, New York. Thank you so much for joining. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Help me to build my presence and share me with a friend, won't you? I hope to see you soon, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.